Good morning. This is the Ancast, episodes 15 through 19. I am the host of this club, Master, and with me is.
Seems, man, and I have something to say. Let's all love Arwi.
Yes, I am irrelevant, and let's all love everything.
Yeah.
I'm Vamp the Vampire, Vamp Cavendish. Please give Diana more wine! But that's spoilers.
Oh no.
Give her
Give
port
us
wine.
all.
You
We
know,
should do wine podcast.
No.
That would be hilarious.
Okay.
Give
This is
vodka. Give her
so-
vodka next time.
Episode 15. So now, you're up. What are your thoughts? What are your notes?
I have almost no notes. I guess this was a boring episode, or an episode where nothing happened. I guess.
Ah.
Uh, so all of the things I have to say are negative about this episode.
Yeah, go ahead.
First, I wanted to mention one example of bad animation, or at least clunky animation, with Diana on the bridge. Like, I don't know what really happened.
Yeah, it's very choppy, yes.
Yes.
I thought the
So
rest of the episode was like among the best in the show.
So I don't understand how this happens. Like, the show itself is very consistent with the animation.
Well,
So-
you're rushed on a fucking TV schedule. There are going to be some scenes. Like, you can't do everything. It's not like a movie, you know?
But the show is so consistent. So
Yeah, it is. It was a bit surprising for me, but
Yeah.
even then, like I thought the rest of the episode was like the animation of it was like better than most of the previous episodes because it was there were very precise things with the cooking that they had to animate and had to really think about how to make this like not look terrible and really do some like precise work with the animation that I thought was amazing.
I think we should try to explain the plot of the episodes. So basically, Anne is depressed because of the boy who is always teasing her, and she left the school, and she's now studying at home. And because she's so stressed and depressed and full of teenage angst, she let some weird food. She spoiled the
sauce.
food basically. What was it? Pudding?
Yeah, it was pudding
Well,
sauce.
yeah, that's the second half of the episode. The first half
Yeah.
was about
She,
you know.
first half she learns to cook. Second half she
Yeah, so
makes
she
a
makes
mistake.
brownies and shit.
So
It's
basically, Anne fucked up, and because of
Yeah.
that, this weird and awkward moment happened with the guests of the
Oh,
house. And I really like this shot right here
Yeah,
because
that's an amazing shot.
it's it's the guy Tomino did this episode.
Ooh,
this is a shot that I would expect from something like Neon Genesis Evangelion or something like that.
It's from the guy who made the fucking two
Proto
biggest
Ava.
shows that inspired, and he was also a storyboarder on Yamato, which is
Yeah.
Anna's favorite show.
So yes.
I
Very
really like
impact-
this shot. I like the fact that you can see Matthew's face in the mirror,
Yes.
The details good.
even though it doesn't really look like a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of just looks like a part of the wall.
Yes. You can really feel the awkwardness in the scene.
Yeah. But the shots happen so quick, so
Yeah.
it's okay. You don't really notice too much unless you stay and look at it.
Yeah.
And I really like this shot of Anne's blushing.
They all blush really hard this episode, like
Yeah.
way more than they have before.
Yeah, it's a really good reaction face. So that's everything I have to say about the episode.
There's a funny part at the start where I think Anne's fucked up again for some reason. I can't remember now. Marilla's there laughing, and Matthew comes in and just immediately shuts the
Yeah,
door.
okay. Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah.
fucking. That was one of my favorite parts so
That
far.
was-
Okay, because Anne is like afraid Diana is gonna go away and she's never gonna see Diana again. And it's
Yeah, he
Marilla
had,
laughing. For like one of the first, like Marilla's giggled a bit at Anne before and like the stuff
Oh, yeah.
that Anne has said, but this is the first time she's full on laughing out loud at how ridiculous the thing Anne has. And then Matthew comes in with the greatest expression ever when he sees this.
He's just like, he just immediately shuts the door and leaves. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't want any part of it. I want out.
Oh my god! That scene is so good because it really shows how comfortable like Anne and Marilla have come, or like have been together with each other, and
Yeah.
have come so far with each other, and it follows through later on in the episode when they're cooking together. It's very like it's not Marilla isn't that strict in how she talks to Anne. She's very direct, but she's not like she's very kind of there's more warmth to it.
Definitely through, and
Definitely
even
through her
throughout the
body
next
language.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it evolves like very directly, like progressively throughout the episode.
It's great.
Yeah, who would have thunk that we would see Marilla at the beginning of the series, at least the first few episodes, that we would see Marilla like full on like LMAO, laughing out loud, quite literally, and not like quenching it or be a little giggle. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty great.
One of my notes. I was going to mention one of my notes for episode 16 is literally Marilla laughing at Anne's misfortune. Because that's all she does in the series.
Yeah, that is her now. Also, there's a really fun line. It's like, even with the saddest in my heart, I must learn how to cook. How realistic.
Yes.
I think that one is getting more and more funny as the series goes on.
Yeah,
I
she's
think
getting more and more comfortable. It's very good at showing that.
I think that she was comfortable from the start. I think that the writing is just
I don't
improved.
think she was. I don't think
I think she's always comfortable with everyone.
Yeah, but she's a bit more now.
Yeah,
I'd say.
she's like she's
Yeah.
like she's okay. There's a degree of comfortable to be honest to us, but like this like so she has this kind of like well what episode 4 was about, but she has this kind of defense to her. She's a bit guarded. She's a bit on edge most of the time, and then when she finally comes into like she like the last couple of episodes or the last the episodes before these episodes were about Anne testing Marilla, Anne testing like how far she can go with talking to Marilla. Now Anne knows kind of where she can and what she can and can't say. And now she kind of acts freely in that, and she tries to be like a word. There's a word for this.
That word is good writing.
Work in that, I guess. And it does a very good job of showing this. And especially this episode, if I can cut in, I'm sorry, I'm going to. This is one last thing. The eyes in this episode, like there's so much like eye movements in this episode as opposed to like the other episodes in this batch that we watched. There's like so much like eye movement between Anne and Marilla and then Matthew, and it's very good.
Yeah, it really draws your eye to like what you're meant to look at.
Because yeah, that's what people do. You know.
Yeah. It's very good and real. All right, moving on. There's a nice point where like Anne's struggling to beat the eggs, and Marilla just instantly shows her how to do it, and then Anne just picks up on it. That was like a really good learning thing. I like that a lot. Good. And also like when they've all found out at the end that Anne screwed up and she announces it in front of everyone. She's very honest, but everyone's like kind of like upset and embarrassed, but like no one's really totally angry, which is nice. So at the end, when it's all like everyone, when the guests leave, because they've been having tea or whatever. So when the guests leave, there's like a really quick succession of shots that gone over and done with. And it feels like we don't really need to go into that. And that's what they've done. because we know exactly how this works out. She gets a bit scolded, but Marilla's been a bit more lenient on her, and it's resolved. It's an honest mistake, and she was honest with it. So we know how this works, which is good. We don't have to go through that whole thing.
Yeah, this is sort of the completion of the arc of, now Marilla just sort of understands Anne a lot better and just knows that Anne is
They can have
just
fun with
a
each other.
good-willed little kid,
They can have fun with each other. That's very important. For
That's the end of my notes.
Alright, Van.
Oh yeah. You guys have mentioned most of my stuffs, but I just want to make one more mention to the beginning of the episode. Master, you sort of glanced over this, where I from when first watching the episode also sort of glanced over this, but I sort of appreciate the scene a little more from the next episode, and that's because the scene I'm referring to is the one where right in the beginning of the episode, and just sitting in a chair, she had a daydream or something about losing Diana.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
It was great. I thought it was great.
That's basically
in her memory, they're all grown up, but they just looked pretty much the same. She's like kind of bigger bodies.
Yeah.
And she sees Diana in this white dress or walking off with this guy. And it's like, oh no, marriage. The thing that will steal Diana from me. I just thought that was really funny.
Can we all agree that Diana and Anne are basically lesbians at this point?
I don't think they are.
Yeah, that would be honestly a gross interpretation of it. Gross as in taking liberties.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. I think
no, I don't think they are, but they really, 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 really love each other.
Honestly, what's interesting is that some kids
not
and
sexually.
This
not
makes sense for
but emotionally.
Emotionally, lesbians. All right, what I was saying was fucking this kind of makes sense because Anne is a kid who has been, she's an orphan girl, and so she hasn't really had time to just be like, oh yeah, this is my friend, I'm gonna hang out. No, she's too busy taking care of 3 fucking kids, that kind of thing. So I feel like for her it makes so much sense to be so sort of attached to one friend and be really concentrated on the best friend sort of dynamic. And I just think that's really interesting because some people are, a lot of kids, especially younger ones, really love that.
I love. Let's see. And there are many things. I thought this was a great episode. First of all, fuck you. So now I loved it. I loved how fucking detailed. I brought this up briefly, but the animation in this episode. Yeah, there was one choppy cut, but the rest of it was so much with fine hand animation, fine stuff animation, Anne closing the door, not with a hand, there's this screenshot I posted of Anne, and she's closing the door not with one of those, not with a poker thing, not with a glove, but with a piece of firewood. And that's it's you have to think about that. You wouldn't naturally do that, right?
I guess. I don't remember what you're talking about specifically. I have to confess that I wasn't really paying attention when I watched this episode, so I don't have much to say about it. Sorry.
Sad days.
I thought the framing, the first when I go to the bridge and the framing of this them facing Gilbert, and it's how it's they're standing there. It's flat. It's a flat composition, but you see the reflection of them in the river, and I thought it was great. I love the conversation at the swing at the end. They didn't really talk about much, but it was very comfy.
This
You
show
know.
in general is comfy.
Yeah, but that one especially I thought was like a nice bookend to the episode after all the stuff that happened. You know. And I think we talked about this in the first episode of the podcast, first part of the podcast, where we were kind of, or one of us, it might have been Samar or Vamp, like was kind of like afraid that it would slow down, but the show is like speeding up in terms of like how much time is going by.
Yeah.
It's constantly more and more.
And the writing is getting better, in my opinion.
Well, it's not like the writing, in a way, yes, because the characters are getting, they're building on each other, right? And that they use that to, they're progressing each other and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're more familiar now.
It's
sort
great.
of what we were talking about earlier about the evolution of their relationships.
Yeah, and
Allows
they can
for
take
better
a little more
opportunities.
liberties.
Yeah,
Like they don't have to show absolutely everything now. They can
yeah.
leave
Because
some
we've
things.
established it.
Yeah, classic
That's
world building.
that's what's great about this. We've thoroughly established something, so now we don't have to like mention it again, right?
Hmm.
What's also
Yeah.
great is that the establishment of that stuff, was actually pretty good on its own.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing as well. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think that's it for episode 15 for me.
Since we are talking about episode 16, yeah, this is a good show. I really like it. Basically, Anne is trying to study, so she asked Matthew to hide one of her books so she doesn't get distracted by reading. It's a great shot. I really like her expression.
You see Matthew on the couch, like falling asleep, reading this because he's reading something for like the farmers conference or something.
Yeah, something like that. Matthew had the best comedic moments in the show. Hands down.
Well, he's comedic relief.
Yeah.
That's his role.
Mhm.
That's a rather unfortunate way to put it.
Well, is it? Am I wrong?
Like,
Oh, you're completely right.
Marilyn also has comedic scenes.
Yeah, everyone has. But like
She's above it.
Matthew is utilized the most as comedic relief, more than any other character.
I don't know if I agree. I think that Ten has most of the funny lines.
Most of the funny lines, but most of like the reactions, most of like the comedic breaks, right? You need to shut away. You need to, get away from a situation, or you've established something and you don't know how to connect something. All right, cut to Matthew.
Yeah.
That sounds like a real thing.
So I was going to mention that the dialogue itself has been getting better and better as the series goes by, and I wanted to mention one quote by Anne. It would be terrible if we skipped from September to November. Like, if it would be terrible if we didn't add the Octobers. Like, it's such an innocent line because I don't think that Anne realized that the months of the year are mostly social constructs. So, like, there's a lot of irony in that quote.
Yeah.
Well, I think she was just showing to like the seasonal times.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
But it's still a funny line.
Yeah.
Anything else to say?
I just want to say because I was actually just rewatching the clips of Anne sort of guiding Diana back to her home after getting Diana drunk. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
Oh god, that was so painful.
No, it was funny.
It was funny, but it was also painful, which is why it was funny.
And we got this amazing shot of Diana and almost kissing.
Yes.
Like, okay, this is a romantic relationship. When I say romantic, I don't mean sexual. I mean romantic.
Yes,
So
I
don't
agree.
misunderstand me.
I agree with
In a
you.
sense, yes.
Romanticized.
Well,
Yes.
like romantic doesn't necessarily mean like sexualized.
Oh yeah.
So, we're referring to older terms of the words.
Yes. The ancient ones. That's also the thing I like about the show. Just the time period it's set in. It's very nice.
I'm going to mention that in the next episode.
All right. I guess I'll start going off and stuff. Because why
Yeah.
not?
Do it.
Because we're still on episode 15. Yeah. So I mentioned this before, but when they're playing in the snow, but here when she invites her over, they have all those adult pleasantries that they really talk about nothing. And I really like how that's how they view adults. Like they keep doing that adults really just sit around, talk about nothing, be really nice and polite to each other.
Well,
And that's what being an adult is.
that is what an adult is, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost explicitly just performing the etiquette, because that's really all they see, because adults seem to be sort of so restricted to the point of etiquette just pervasing the whole conversation.
I mean,
these role plays
they
that they
are.
do is pretty hilarious.
Because they
This is olden days, yeah.
All right. Also, when they say raspberry cordial, you just know, like instantly. I don't know if for anyone else.
Wait.
God, that was
1 second. I'm gonna get blackberry cordial.
To
I'm not
drink
leaving.
right now.
I'll take a picture later. But my
Okay.
mother
Yeah.
made some.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they said that, I was like, "Oh god damn, it's gonna happen," because
And it was
like there
glorious.
had to be some conflict. Like without the conflict, basically, yeah. When she mentions raspberry cordial, there needs to be some sort of conflict in the episode. So like that is what's going to happen. Like that instantly sprang to my mind. She's going to get drunk of wine. Oh no, why are you pouring 3 glasses full? Oh no, stop. No, yeah, that was fun. That was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And also, yeah, I'm not sure if it was at this point in the episode yet, but when Marilla, she laughs when she hears that Anne's done this. I'm pretty sure that's this episode, yeah, but it just shows how she's evolved in the episode. Like, she will laugh at everything now Anne does wrong, as long as it's honest, which Anne is like very always basically. So
I think that Marilla is the most honest person in the show. Like even when she's talking to adults, she never lies. She's always brutally honest. Like when she was talking with a fat lady after Anne called her fat, and she was like, "Okay, you deserved it because you insulted Anne."
yeah, I do think there's some sort of like of those adult airs that they have where she does talk in a certain way and she does try to avoid certain things. Like when they were talking about the teachers, like, "Oh, don't talk about your teacher that way, even if it's honest." That's like the wrong thing to do. Like, don't shit talk your teacher. But yeah, among the adults, she's
She talking my teachers is my favorite pastime.
yeah.
I do it on
Very
instinct.
very true. But not to these kids. These kids aren't allowed to shit talk teachers. And I don't know if this episode would. I don't know if we're talking about Miss Barry this episode. It might be next episode, but either way, it's a good lead on. But like you'd think, if Marilla didn't know Anne very well, do you think she'd react the same way as Mrs. Barry? Like, would she think that Anne's being malicious if she didn't know her that well?
No, I
Like,
don't
she
think
didn't have a
so.
level of trust. No.
I don't think so.
something in me like slightly thinks that, like just a bit. Like, yes, Marilla is a bit more understanding, but before, when we had the what was it, the earring or whatever, the pendant, or I forgot what it's called now, but she didn't trust Anne then. It's kind of the same situation, but it's evolved to show that Marilla's more trusting now. It's kind of the same dynamic, if you get what I mean. I figured that's a really good way to show the development. Like, they have the same situation, but she trusts Anne more now. So, like, she's like, ha ha ha, this is a funny joke because I understand it now. She's
Okay,
in
do you guys
Alright.
want to move on for the next
Yeah, let's move
episode?
on.
Well, Vamp, do you have anything to say?
We're still on episode 16.
Yeah.
Wine is good and funny.
Art, please don't unedit the silence. It was a perfect
No.
build-up for the line. Wine is indeed
Next
good.
episode.
No, I have shit to say. I have with me blackberry cordial.
Okay, can you share a picture with us?
I just did.
Very
Check
good.
scheduling.
That looks like very, very, very thick wine, but it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
wine. Very obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Does it taste good?
Yeah.
This makes me want to make cordial now.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Nice.
I don't think I have much to say. No, I have some small notes, I guess. I love how quick it cuts from Marilla and Anne, and getting firewood to going off to Marilla. It's a quick, hard cut, but you don't really notice it that much. Boy, you can tell that the layout artist changed. Because Miyazaki left to do, like, Cagliostro or something. Now it's someone else. Which isn't bad, it's just that it's different, and it's very noticeable.
Does he come back?
No, the other guy's just as good, though.
Yeah, even though I didn't have much to say on it, I enjoyed it. It was mostly like a sort of just seeing the Diana and Anne roleplay and whatnot. Honestly, really great setup for next episode, which is one of probably my favorite episode thus far. There's a lot of other ones that come really close. Don't get me wrong, but this happened to just really pay off in a way that I really enjoyed. Yeah. Episode 17 was cool. Sims Man?
Okay, do you want me to explain what happens in these episodes?
Well, do what you want.
Okay, basically, Diana's mother doesn't want Anne and Diana to play with each other again because of all the drunk incident. So basically, they have to say goodbye to each other, and it's sad. And I'm going to quote the series. Anne uses the most pathetic language that she can think of. I really like the scene. Basically, Anne uses the words T and O and that etc. And I like the moment of self-awareness after that.
Like, there was some weak ass lines. The shame.
It was a really fun scene. I know it was supposed to be dramatic, but it was funny.
Yeah, that's how the show's evolved. Like, she's always dramatic, so when she's that dramatic, it's funny now. Like, I think maybe it'll even always funny, possibly. But yeah, go on.
Now I have all those blackberry seeds in my mouth. Anyhow.
I was going to mention that I think that Anne cutted her hair and gave it to Diana, or I don't know
Yeah.
if Diana cut her hair and gave it to Anne. One of them did. That was a thing that people did that time to lovers. That's all I have to say.
Hell yeah.
I expected like Anne to offer up her hair, Diana, but there was just like nope, nothing there. Just take, no give. How selfish.
Also, I don't remember if it's in this episode that Anne goes back to school.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is. So when
Yes, it
she
is.
arrives to school, we are presented to this shot, this horrendous shot. This is what I call to the picture. Heresy. Heresy.
Yeah, but we're told none of this matters at all. So
But it's just a little insult to add to all the tragedy. Also, speaking of foreshadowing, in the beginning of the show, in the episode where Anna and Diana meet each other for the first time, Marilla warned Anne that the person that she had to be worried about was Diana's mother, because she's the stubborn one, and she's the one that would oppose to their relationship. So that was a good moment of foreshadowing.
Yeah, honestly, that's sort of what I loved about the Anne's like you know daydream of or nightmare, day nightmare of fucking Diana getting married off is like honestly I didn't think of it as like a foreshadowing at the time because I was like, oh, this is just some dream, some shit, you know. Like it could just be like, it's your best friend. Of course, she would have this kind of dream at some point, but then for it to be connected to sort of is foreshadowing is sort of a was a big payoff for me. Even though like I feel like it would have been obvious, but with such a unique character that Anne is sort of uh, clouded my judgment.
That's all I had to say. I have to say that this is a good representation of the 19th century.
Oh,
And
I think that comes more into play in this episode as well, but also the next one especially.
Yeah, the next one. The next one.
The next one's
is
probably
the
my
best.
favorite episode
Yes.
so far.
Yes, I agree. But this is something that we are not used to get from anime. Good representations of specific time periods.
Sadly enough, no. Nobody's Boy Remy is also really good at representing this time period. Because they're traveling, so they have to show off everything and have to be accurate and all that. And they go to extreme depths. Which is part of what makes the show as good as it is. Anyhow, irrelevant.
all right. When Diana and Anne they're just talking and like breaking it down that they have to like not see each other ever again. Like there's a lot of silence during that moment. Just the pure despair. Yeah, that holds really well, I think. Like it really tells a lot more than if they were talking a lot. Like because most of them would be talkative and they'd be like discussing something, but no, they're just silent. And it hurts. And they can't really do anything about it. So yeah, it's really like lack of all hope there. I'm not sure if it's in this episode or the next. I think it's in a different episode, but Gilbert gives her an apple and she just drops it on the ground.
That's this episode.
All right, cool. Yeah, she just drops the apple on the ground. She just keeps disrespecting him.
Yeah.
And like whenever she disrespects Gilbert, that's always a great scene for me because he tries so hard, but he just fails. It's fun. And the fact that he gives her a bit of chalk, and he's like the happiest kid ever. And geez, that was just funny, just to me. And also, all the memories of Diana, whenever they're paired together, like there's like a sequence, there's like a whatchamacallit, a montage of them just being together, and there's like a lot of like symmetrical scenes there, and I think those just look really nice. Like, and they have those really nice backgrounds, like a sunset in one of them, or like these contrasting shades. So yeah, I think that's about all I have for that episode.
Yeah. Oh my god, so much happened in this episode. There's a lot of I know Sin's Man probably loved the beginning of this episode because they're Diana and Anne when they're saying their goodbyes towards the end of that, they sort of both said I love you to each other. Specifically uh Anne saying and I will always love thee, Diana.
The most pathetic language that Anne could think of.
Yes. The Oh my god, the crying.
Oh, I thought that cutting away, like it cuts away from multiple positions to like Anne, like being sad that Diana's gone from all these different shots, and I thought, oh god, like it really did make me feel horrible.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. At the end of all of those cuts, we see a sort of like that bridge shot from the last episode that you were showing us, sort of her sort of flat shot of her sort of walking off screen because
Yeah.
Diana, we already seen her run off, and the leaves start blowing in the direction that Anne's going.
Yep.
And it's so good. Very, very dense episode for me, just in terms of just things that I especially liked.
Also, I had one more extra thing to add. When Marilla says, like, at the start of the episode, like, this helped me a great deal that Anne left her friend and has to go back to school. Like, but she doesn't say it, like, as a relief sort of thing. She's kind of angry about it because she's still angry at Mrs. Barry, but, like, logically, she did want Anne to go back to school, but throughout, like, none of the previous episodes, she wasn't really onto that. Like, she wasn't on a case about it or anything. But, like, she's, like, saying one thing but means another. I think that's a really good line.
I'm really loving Anne's actions in this episode after the goodbyes, because it's like the specific, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to school now. This is all I've got now. Not even with the intention, oh yeah, I'm gonna see Diana, we're gonna be like hanging out and all that, because it's like she knows that if she, associates with Diana, the mom will like it. The mom will find out somehow. So it was very clear to me that there was an intention not even just to see Diana, though obviously, we see it later on that she sort of gets a note from Diana towards the end of the episode, I think. But that's really like the most of their interaction. It's really, I just think that it was a good decision by Anne to sort of, there's no need to isolate herself. Might as well make best of the situation. Even though she can be the fucking stubborn character, fucking hating on Gilbert. But I'm sure that's going to get resolved soon. Wink, wink. So yeah, I just really love Anne here. Like, really worked out well. She went to the school actually later on in the episode. This is what I also love is that sort of like a whole bunch of girls were like sort of went to her, and she wasn't like, she got a warm welcome, even though some some other girls were talking shit behind her back. It was sort of nice to see that, and sort
But they
of
were a
good
minority.
times. Yeah.
That the people were she talking were a minority.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it was cool that the sort of good actions and the whatever from the past episodes sort of came back and sort of made the situation better, because and it was a good decision to not just be like, oh, I'm only going to have a best friend and only interact with my best friend. She sort of was sort of open to be nice, friendly, and sort of interact with other people if they also want to interact with her. I like how good this character is, not just in terms of characterization, but in terms of just decision making. Sort of respect that on a admiration sort of level. These sort of basic things that I feel like a lot of people sort of forget, or not forget, but sort of know but don't do. I guess the last couple things I want to say are that I really loved the faces in this episode. You could say a lot of them were kind of flat a little bit, but there was just a lot of
That's like
just
I don't
clear.
think they're like that special
Yeah, they're not that special, but
this episode. I think I like this and I feel like there wasn't really any way, either way. It wasn't really that different.
yeah, I just feel like there was more of them, which I mean, most other episodes, Anne's generally a chipper girl, but
I really like how like the kind of the show when it does close-ups or like extreme close-ups, it does them like always in relation to an object. Like it's never just like a close-up. It's always a close-up in relation to something else. It's and most of the show going through some film technology is in mid shots. It's not too far away. It's not too close up. You can still see the face and make out everything and stuff. I think it does that very well. Like balance it very well to give it character and to let it like breathe. Have the characters like not like be cut off. They can still emote with the parts of their body most of the time in the even in the closer up shots. Yes.
Oh yeah. Like there's like a shot of Diana being like sort of sad in her room, but like it's not just on her face. It's she's in her chair. She's sort of facing towards the window and whatnot. It's sort of a little bit of a claustrophobic thing. It's not meant to be a comfy shot. Of course, is a tonal atmospheric one. Yeah. Yeah. I really loved just like in the classroom there was the other friends and how they interacted with her. One of them gave her like plums in the middle of class. I thought that was like pretty cool. Like, oh yeah, like here's some plums, Lel. Like, even though this is olden days and whatnot, like they can still be like this sort of fuckery of as long as Anne's on her shit, she's doing stuff right. But also she's got a bunch of plums, and that's cool. And then towards the end of the episode, fucking Diana gives her a note, and it gets passed along the class efficiently and good, and that's cool. That's it. That's all I got.
Out of all the gifts she got, the poetry was her favorite one.
Yes.
And that speaks a lot to her character.
Yeah.
Like plums are good, but poetry, man. Poetry's king. You can't defeat it. Gotta be romanticized as fuck. Alright. Let's go to the next episode.
Wait. One last thing. My bad. When Anne is sort of passing a note back to Diana, is sort of shot, not focusing on Gilbert, but like almost is sort of like a little suspense, like, oh, is Gilbert gonna fuck around with them? And of course he's not, because why would he? Why would we think that? We wouldn't. But it was just sort of funny the way that girl on the other end received it. And this girl that's sitting next to Diana is the one that chick talked fucking Anne behind her back. And when Diana opens the note, the fucking bitch is trying to get a fucking peek on what she's reading. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing, bitch?" Oh, she didn't say that, but she, turned the note a little bit and was like, give her a face. Really fucking funny.
Back off me, man. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I feel like the story of the happenings of a kid who like is not the best student sort of wants to get more on track, so she's sitting next to the smartest kid. I feel like that's happened in my classes like a shit ton of times since I'm in a peasant place, and the kids can be like pretty. I don't give a fuck about education like at all. So it can happen a lot. And it's really funny. But Anne obviously takes it well, and she's a good girl. Whereas the other ones in real life, they're just bad. but that's capitalism for you. Wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move on to episode 18.
Yay. This is my favorite episode so far.
I agree.
Yes.
Uh,
Go ahead, Sumo.
okay. This is the quote I was talking about that I wanted to mention. This is not only the best quote so far in the show, it's probably my second favorite quote I've ever seen in an anime series. This is what Anne says to Matthew. When a man is courting a girl, he
Oh,
has to
yeah, I
agree
have that in my notes.
he has to agree with the mother in religion and the father in politics. This this is the second greatest quote I've ever seen in an anime series. Like this is so good. Like this is what I was talking about when I said that the writing was getting better and better, and was getting more and more funny. This is 10 out of 10 dialogue. Why is this quote so good? Basically, this is the 19th century summed up in one quote. Uh, I've read some novels from the 19th century, and this is basically the mentality that everyone had at the time. Be- because at that time everyone had that mentality, and the best part is that after she says that, she asks Matthew if he ever tried to court a girl, and he responded, "I don't remember," which
Oh
is
my
obviously a
God.
lie.
Yep.
That's obviously a lie.
But Anne is so innocent that she just goes along with it.
Yeah,
She's like, oh,
and just this moment was better than the episode itself was great, but this moment was better than the entire episode together. Better than the resolution of the arc between Anne and Diana. It it's such a great moment. And this is basically what I mean when I say that this is a good historical piece.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so back to the episode itself and not to the meta aspect of the episode. So Diana goes to Anne's house because her sister is sick, and basically Anne saves Diana's little sister. One thing I really liked about the episode was the lightning. How their shadows are colored in light colors. Like I don't know. Like I don't think I've ever seen something like this is in anime. Like basically, this is the
Yeah,
moonlight.
it's very like it uses this kind of greenish yellow for the moon, and
Yeah.
then you have like it's like using like light lines for the shadow.
It's the shades are almost white. I don't
Yes.
know how to express it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's really creative.
Mm-hmm. The
And
the shots of them like running outside to Diana's house are amazing.
yeah.
I can't like they really show the whole route to Diana's house again, and they show it with all these like the dormant trees and all the snow, this lighting, and it's like going through this path with all. Oh, God.
yeah.
Like it feels so desperate, and like each shot isn't like each shot has time. It's not just quick. The characters have time to move through it. You have time to look at it and move with it, and it's great. I can't say anything. It's great.
It's a great episode, and you already know that. What's her name? Minimai. Is that it?
Yeah, Minnie.
Yeah, you already know that she's going to leave because the title of the episode is "Anne saves Minimai" or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be better if they built more tension and kept the fact that she was going to be saved hidden to create tension for the viewer.
Mm.
But
I
I
think
don't
it's better
know.
that they don't, because it really allows Anna and Diana to fully take hold of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. So what you're trying to say is that Minima is a MacGuffin, a plot device.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, 100%.
Also, I like the fact that Anne was the one that was able to save her because she had experience
Yep,
taking care of kids.
yep. It builds. It all builds.
About the episode, yeah, kind of. Actually, not too much, but like with the winter, like it's a really good contrast, like showing all these the same places, but they look so different, and so like, and I think like because like the trees are basically dead with no leaves. Kind of like it's pretty harrowing to see that when Minnie May dying, like everything around there, which had been so full of life, is just kind of all these dead trees and stuff.
Dormant in winter.
That was good, and also yeah, it came so suddenly. Like we were just seeing like, oh, it's just starting to be autumn now, and now it's winter. Like with a blink of an eye, it's just so fast.
Yeah.
Also, Matthew's nod is very powerful. Like whenever he nods in acceptance, this has been like throughout the whole series. But like you just know, like he's gonna take it upon himself to like do the right thing, and he just
Even
does it
if it
quiet.
takes him until 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, he goes 3 a.m. to get a doctor
Yeah.
from the other
Matthew
town.
was also a hero in this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, he fetched the doctor, even though the doctor didn't really do too much.
Matthew is a sweet young boy.
Yes.
Speaking of politics, the reason why this whole problem was because Diana's mother was absent because she was going to attend to a political speech or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to see a premiere. He wasn't even a premiere because he was too ugly. That's literally the whole thing. Yeah, and also when Matthew's like, "Oh, I'm conservative," yeah, that's just just brilliant. He's like, "Oh, and I'm conservative as well now because you are." Politics. Oh boy. Yeah. And also the fact that I forgot his name, but the fat one that I was making fun of, she's a red hot politician. That was funny. That was a funny line. That she's so politically charged, and also the freaking the leftism women should vote. That's just like, yeah, change. Go for that change. I mean, because when did women have the right to vote? It would have been quite a while after that, I would think.
It depends of the country.
Yeah, because I know here it's like 1917.
Yeah, but this was still like 9th century, so I would assume it'd be a ways off that.
I don't know if Portugal was the first country in Europe to let a woman vote, but there was a woman that voted before the fascist dictatorship because of a legal loophole. Basically, the law said that only the chief of the family could vote. This woman was single, and she had a family. She had some daughters and sons, or something like that. She was a widow, basically. And she was allowed to vote. I'm trying to search in Google. Okay, was in 1911. Her name was Carolina Beatriz Anjou, but basically women were only allowed to vote in Portugal after the Carnation Revolution. So the first election was in 1976, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I just wanted to say the moment to moment was great in this episode. Obviously, all that stuff's watch it for yourself. You know. The one thing I want to mention though, the one thing is that I really love this sort of redemption for of Anne in the Diana's mom's eyes, because it's like it's funny that like the only way that Anne could get sort of redeemed is that Anne sort of literally saves her daughter's life. Well, and it didn't happen all the way until winter. Like this could easily been like 4 or 5 months. Like like I just find that really funny that there could have been a situation where this never happened.
Yeah.
And just never got a redemption for, like in the mom's eyes.
Okay, I had one more thing to say about the episode. It's basically Anne and Matthew are basically father and daughter to this point. The way they're talking about it at the end when they are in the carriage and going back home, and Anne is tired.
Yeah.
It was a really sweet moment.
Yeah, and like Anne just leaning on Matthew.
Yeah.
And Anne and Diana making food together was nice. And the mother joining in, it ties it all like up nicely. The brief conversation between Anne and Marilla. Marilla being like, "Yeah, I don't think I have much to say. You went through a lot today. Rest well. Good night." And just like, I don't know, I liked it a lot. I liked that a lot as an end to the episode.
Yeah.
Like, there's no particular reason other than like reinforces so much of like, just like a family now. It's all very sweet. Yeah, that was it.
So let's move on to the next episode then.
All right, somehow it up.
Okay. I enjoyed this episode. I don't think it was bad. I simply didn't find it that interesting. That's it.
I thought the character animation this episode again was particularly. I'll get to that soon, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm looking back at some scenes and like they really put a lot of details into like the movement of the form of the bodies. Like Marilla at the beginning of the episode, Marilla's heading Anne rather was heading out to go to Diana, and she goes down the stairs. You don't see her go downstairs, but we see her go into frame near the door, and she quickly turns back. Then puts on the curtain that's very done with a lot of detail on it. You see the shading of the inside of the curtain, or putting it on.
Yeah, it's a really good moment.
And then her putting on the coat, which is
yeah.
Irrelevant. You're up.
All right. I really like at the start when like Marilla is having the argument with Anne whether she's going to go to the performance or whatever. Yeah. It's really good. She's like, oh, I understand her disposition better than you, Matthew, so she shouldn't really go because it'll just excite her, and that's bad. It's also weird and out of place. And then when Matthew comes in later, Matthew just walks in, and Marilla's just like, okay, fine. You make a very convincing point. I'll let Anne go now. After he says nothing at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is great. Like that bond together is good. I still do find it weird that Marilla would still be this hard on her, just to go over and sleep. But I guess it's kind of like a boundary thing, maybe. I don't know. She makes a dopey smile. It reminds me a lot like Charlie Brown kind of thing, like that kind of comedy thing. It's really nice. I love it. Also, when by the end of the episode, when they're going back to sleep in the house, and when they jump on Diane's aunt's bed, and she's sitting there, that's just like, oh, damn, didn't expect that one. And then they just start laughing about it after, oh, this is dreadful, but this is hilarious. And then just that dynamic is cool. Damn. And then they get absolutely karmed for it later. Like, oh, yep, I'm not going to teach you any more lessons because you jumped on my goddamn bed. But
then it gets even better with the resolution.
Exactly, it gets even better because, like, in the end, who would have known? But the old lady actually likes Anne, likes talking to her. She's kind of a romantic herself. But yeah, it's also kind of weird that she wanted that petty revenge. Just like, oh yeah, you jumped on my bed. I know it was an accident, but I'm not going to teach you. Just get the hell out. It's a bit weird, but it was resolved, so it's okay, I guess. And also, there's the thing where Anne, she ignores Gilbert again, which is always funny for me. That's literally all I have to say. I think, yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, for me, obviously, like you guys have mentioned a lot of what I liked. The sort of there's like a sort of talent show, I guess. It was really funny. Not funny. It was really cool seeing sort of the audience and the different shots. Fucking the teacher's fucking bitch. There's a cool like sort of profile shot from what I remember. I thought that was like I weirdly liked, even though like it doesn't seem impressive. And these crowd shots right here is two different whole moments. One where I forget who they're watching, but obviously like the different people interacting in different ways. Fucking, there's a kid off to the side, literally just like being like I don't give a fuck kind of. And then in the next shot, or one of the next sort of audience shots, see this his mom or whatever sort of being mom and sister being sort of embarrassed or sad or something, and he's like trying to cheer her up or something. Also, I liked when all the girls were sleeping in the bed and they woke up. I liked that shot. And Diana's little sister. That's it. Yeah. Just a pleasant episode.
Oh yeah, I liked it. I love how Diana and Anne have developed a Morse code to like come to each other. It's such a cool detail. Like if it's five flashes, then it's really, really important. Okay.
What are you talking about exactly?
What? The
What
beginning
are you-
of the episode. Literally the first shot. You watch the episode, right? You know when you put on an episode, right? Things
Yes.
happen, right? Yes. This was the first thing that happened in the episode, right? And there were flashing
yes.
lightning cars, and there was
With Morse
this is
code,
called
yes.
Morse code. Yes,
I
yes.
know what it is. I didn't understand what you were talking about,
I said
but I know
it.
what Morse code is.
Okay, yeah.
You talk too fast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. No, it was cool.
Yeah, I love how they keep using the same shots of the school, but each time the characters are in a different position in that shot, or like relating to it, like interacting, like across different episodes. If you look at episodes of like 14 or 15, and of how the school was, how the people in the school were shot, it's the same shot, but the characters are all in different positions and stuff, and you really get the sense, that this is a class and lively and shit, and that's cool. Besides that, I love it whenever this happens quite a bit in the show. But whenever like Anne gets really happy and she just feels like she needs to like touch someone or hug someone, and Marilla's always really surprised by it, even though it's just like the thousandth time it's happened so far. It's so funny to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Anne's apology. Again, this pulling on, the previous episodes, like episode 7 or something, where she apologized to the other lady for, when she called the lady fat or whatever. And that's, Anne knows how to apologize and how to use words and shit, and that really comes to advantage here. Yeah, it sets up another character. I think we pretty much covered everything. Oh yeah, the ending narration. Then you got to like Marilla was none too pleased about this, and then Marilla saying something, and that's the joke. It was.
I warn you so.
It was.
Or I
It
told
was.
you so.
Yeah, I told you so, and I thought no, it's so stupid, but I thought it was fucking hilarious.
That's just Marilla and her pride.
Yeah.
That's a good punchline.
Yeah.
That's
end
how
the
you
episode.
good. That's how you do good narration.
That's how you end your episodes good. Yeah. I feel so fulfilled after having watched an episode of this, because they always put a lot of effort into, what little moment are we going to end? It's very good. Because it's never like a big moment. It's always like, oh, here's something, here's a little thing. And it's the most comfortable thing every time. Anne is good. You guys want to say something about your impressions on the
Yeah.
show so far?
Ooh, the way you were describing the way that the episodes end reminds me the way that Nisio Isin usually ends the arcs from the Monogatari series.
Well, it's a very common type thing in stories.
So, and this story, the epilogue, or rather the punchline.
Yeah.
I want to say that I think it was earlier in this podcast where Master Art, you were sort of trying to remember who's the one who said that who voiced their concerns that the series might get slower over time and that might be bad. I believe that was me. I'm glad to say that that's not the case, and that that it seems to be a consistent show with good people working on it. That even if it did get slower in terms of stuff happening, I'm sure it still would be done well.
I said at the beginning that Anne might become a boring character if she becomes repetitive. But I take all that back. No, Anne is getting funnier and funnier as the episodes go by. Her quote about courting girls. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've also been liking these episodes, like even better than before. So I don't think I really have anything specific to say, but I like it's good. It's very good. I want to see more.
All right. If you've endured it this far, thanks for joining.
How long have we been recording?
About an hour and a half.
Okay,
that's decent. Yeah,
It's
good.
Yeah. It's probably gonna cut down about 20 minutes.
Please
no!
watch.
Anyhow.
Don't cut all the talk about history and politics and
No,
Do it,
I'm not
cut
gonna
it,
cut
cut
it.
it!
I'm not gonna cut it all. I'm not gonna cut it all.
No.
Thanks everyone for joining in, and please watch.
Please watch.
Please watch.